Askreddit asks, what is something someone said to you that hit you the hardest?
Never grow up. Just learn to be an adult. Thanks, Dad.
When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up. C.S. Lewis.
You don't stop having fun because you get old. You get old because you stop having fun.
That sounds like good advice.
Never make fun of someone's laugh because they will be self-conscious about being happy. Waking up to gold is a beautiful thing. Thanks.
Very true. In middle school, my friends would try and make me laugh cause it was a hiccupy laugh that sounded like a squeaky toy. I finally realized that they weren't making me laugh to make me happy. They were making me laugh so that they could laugh at me. I spent a couple years self-conscious and trying to change my laugh, so now the squeaky toy laugh only comes out when I'm not thinking about it.
I've lived a good life. I'm ready to go. My grandma, who is still physically and mentally healthy. I just wasn't ready for it.
When you find someone better, please just let me down gently.
Are you still with the person who said this to you?
Honestly, that is painful to hear. I hope things worked out between the both of you. What up? I got a new phone and went out of state for the weekend on the same day. I tried to activate the new phone, but they wouldn't let me until I was back in my home state. On the drive home, one of my friends called my brother, who I was with, to get a hold of me and tell me our other friend committed suicide. Later that day, I got my new phone activated and got a text from the friend that committed suicide that just said, "What up?" He must have sent it not long before he killed himself, not knowing I couldn't text back. I can't imagine how alone he must have felt. I know it sounds conceited, but I can't help but think if I was able to talk to him, maybe he wouldn't have done it. Edit. I really hate when people do these, but I now somewhat understand why. There's no way I can respond to everybody, but I'll try because I think it matters. Also, really wish I didn't use my porn account for this post.
You just feel like a chore now.
I said this to a good friend of mine once when we were living together, and instantly regretted it when I saw the genuine hurt in his eyes. Granted, he was in the depths of alcoholism at the time and had seriously pissed me off and tested my patience. But it still wasn't a productive thing to say, and I saw such true shocked hurt in his eyes that I stopped the argument right there and started processing his reaction with him out loud. He is healthier and off the booze now. Thank God.
This happened when I was either 6 or 7. Mom, why are you always hugging me? Me. 'Cause you're my mom. Mom. Yeah. Or you just want to feel my breasts. 20 years later, and that still bothers me. 'Cause that was the first time I ever felt ashamed, dirty, but I couldn't understand why.
Not me. But a friend of mine was smoking on a break at work and a woman did the whole, "Why smoke? Smoking's bad" thing, and he said he just didn't have a good reason to quit. To which she said, "Son, there are people you haven't even met yet who are going to need you here." I never forgot it. I quit just a month or so after that, and I remember it whenever I'm about to do something stupid, so daily.
It doesn't matter if you hit a home run or strike out. I'll always be your #1 fan, my grandpa, when I was going through a very rough time.
Your grandpa is an actual legend.
Why is this making me tear up and none of the others?
Holy shit, instant tears. Grandparents, and especially grandpas in my case, have been the most amazing human beings. That's beautiful.
My mother once told me, "I think you've been miserable your entire life." In regards to my depression. It may sound like a horrible thing to hear, but she was not trying to upset me. She was basically saying, "You've done everything you can by yourself to try to get out of this depression. But I think it's always been there. So you need help."
She may have said it quite harshly, but at least it's acknowledging your depression and not denying it. Hope you're better.
Last time I saw one of my friends, he told me, "Catch you on the flip side." He hung himself a week later.
Friend called me when I was at work and said, "Don't ever forget how much I love you. You mean so much to me. I'll call you later tonight." He jumped in front of a train shortly after that call.
I'm proud of you and your brother. From my dad. He grew up with a conservative, religious, military household. Old school mentality of dad works and only is involved in family when it's time to discipline. I was always shy and depressed and hated disappointing him, and it came to a point when I started driving and got my car stuck in snow that I didn't want to tell him about it. When my mom told him, she made it clear his kids were afraid of him and he realized he had become his dad, which he hated. The change has been extreme. From a strict, work yourself to death, hard ass to a family guy. Told me on my wedding day that he was proud of me and my brother. Because he never heard it from his dad.
Sounds amazing.
We all find you annoying. Since then, I've always been the quiet kid. Edit. Thank you, kind internet people, for the medals.
My grandma told me something once that stayed with me. Not everyone is going to like you. And that's okay. Something so simple helped me become more comfortable with myself.
I wish you could just stop caring what he says. My dad. After I got the umpteenth emotionally manipulative text from my abusive ex-husband, this was over 2 years after our divorce was finalized. My dad doesn't say much on an emotional level. So when he does say something, I know it has deep meaning. I went no contact with my ex. And remain so to this day. And I'm a much happier and more serene person for it.
I love this. My dad is the same. Doesn't show emotion much, but when he does, I know it's something really sincere. Glad you're happier now. Closing parenthesis dot.
A co-worker once told me all stress is relative. You have no right to undermine what someone else is going through. No matter how small compared to your stress, I think about it a lot. He was so right. I was young and being in a hole.
Something to always keep in mind is that two wildly different causes of stress can produce the same outcome. And just because it was caused by a smaller issue doesn't mean the stress, anxiety, depression is lesser than another's.
You can drown just the same in 2 feet of water or 20 feet of water.
When I was a little girl, I adored my dad, followed him everywhere, wanted to do everything he did. And I sure tried. He was never great at saying how he felt. But I always remember saying, "I love you, Daddy." And he always replied, "I love you, daughter." When I was a preteen, he had no idea what to do with me. And backed off hard. I was super awkward as a preteen teenager. And our relationship was super rocky. We had a lot of hurtful exchanges. And I spent as little time at home as I could. In the summer of 2007, I wrote him a letter, telling him that the way he distanced himself from me was hurtful. And that I didn't know how to deal with the harshness of our current relationship. But that I still loved him and wanted to try and move past our painful interactions and rebuild our relationship. He never responded to most of it, but told me he was sorry. And wanted to fix things. 2. That winter, he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I moved home and took over household things, helping deal with doctors, physical therapists, and eventually hospice. My mom was understandably a mess. And I tried hard to hold it together for them. Things were getting bad. He was fading hard. One night I went in to say goodnight to him. And in a wave of nostalgia, I said, "I love you, Daddy." He hadn't spoken all day. His throat was dry. He was on massive doses of morphine. But he still whispered back to me, "I love you, daughter." He slipped into a coma that night. And never spoke another word. Edit. Wow. Thank you for the platinum. But especially thank you everyone for all the kind words and understanding. To everyone who is going through this, or feels this pain, you're not alone. Purple Heart. Edit. 2. Thanks for all the awards and karma.
You can be the sweetest peach on the peach tree. But not everyone likes peaches.
When my brother was little, he used to say, "If you don't like my peaches, don't pick my tree."
Very wise brother.
I love you. My grandma always believed in showing love, not saying it. She believed actions spoke louder than words. 4 days before she passed away, she told me she loved me. I was shocked at this. But I told her I loved her too. It was so unlike her. I now realize that maybe she said it because With how weak she was due to the sickness. She felt like she couldn't show it. I don't know, maybe I'll never know, but that was when I knew that she didn't have much time left.
Beautiful.
These people, these managers and these directors and all those other co-workers who are marginally above you. They don't give a flat fucking shit about you. Protecting you is not in their interests. The only things they are protecting are the company. Because that keeps the paychecks coming. And if they have to choose you over their bills, then they will fuck you every single time. So don't ever trust them. No matter how much they sound like they are going to bat for you. No matter how fucking sincere those bastards seem like they are being. That was my co-worker Matt. Before he quit his job when we worked together as an insurance adjuster. Made me really open my eyes and realize how people behave at offices and see through corporate bullshit.
My mom once told me when I was a teenager that it took a lot of courage to take your own life. And you could do a lot with that courage instead of killing yourself. Edit. Posted this late last night and then proceeded to have a mess of day due to random bad luck. So thanks for the golds and silvers. Kind strangers. For those struggling to understand what she meant. I don't think my mom meant to say suicide was a courageous act that should looked upon with admiration. As others here have commented, if you have the courage to die, you have the courage to live. I think she meant to convey that we all have a lot of potential and we all have something to offer. Even if we can't see it during the dark times.
Your mom sounds like a wonderful person.
It's not exactly earth-shaking, but I never understood playing games with cheats. From time to time I'd use them, but I had friends who'd barely play a game without using cheats. Out of the blue. Years after I was big into gaming, I visited a friend who was playing GTA 4. She was playing with cheats and I asked her why. She says, "All day I have to deal with consequences. This is the one time I don't have to." It completely 180'd my viewpoint. I've never had so much make sense. Changed my opinion. By one simple sentence. She suffers with depression. So for me, it ran a lot deeper than just playing games. It made me think twice about questioning the things people enjoy or how they live their lives. I never thought something so trivial could hold such poignance.
I was at an interview recently and there was a young man about my age who turned to me and said, "Hey, bro, can you help me tie this necktie? I didn't have a dad to teach me growing up, so I still don't know how to do it." That really struck a heartstring with me. The fact that this man I barely even knew felt confident revealing something so vulnerable make me instantly respect him. It was strange, but I got the impression that he was someone I could be good friends with. We both got hired. I look forward to working with him soon. Edit. Many of you were wondering why he didn't Google how to tie his necktie. This was a law enforcement oral board exam, psychological interview we were both attending. The academy instructors had pulled us from the auditorium where they were keeping all the recruit candidates so we could get fitted for our BDUs. PT gear and polos. As such, we were told to leave all our belongings except the suits on our backs. No phones are allowed in that part of the academy anyway. Hope you enjoyed. That is awesome. Congrats on the job.
Hit hard both on each side of the situation. Then girlfriend, as we were breaking up, admitted she was nervous about doing it herself because she was worried I'd kill myself. I said I felt the same way, vice versa. And I still hear the conversation in my head. Edit. Bit of a cliche. But thank you for the silver. First one. I appreciate the kindness that's been shown in the comments.
You have an energy I've always found challenging, by way of saying I don't wanna talk to you anymore, felt like out of the blue. Was meant to be kind. I think. Fucking ouch.
Maybe take it as a compliment. Challenging doesn't have to be negative. So own that shit. People better watch the fuck out. 'Cause there's some challenging energy coming through. And it ain't gonna settle.
Uncle committed suicide when I was a little kid. When I asked my mom how he died, she said he was depressed. I asked, depression can kill someone? She said, it can if you're sad enough. Here I am about 20 years later.
Depression is the most vicious beast. Hang in there, and take it moment by moment when everything seems overwhelming.
No one wants to be around someone who's sad and blames others all the time, granted. I was in high school and trying to get attention, and some girl said it to me after I was doing my whole nice guy rant. After that I took it upon myself to change and haven't fallen back into that mindset since. I should clarify. The girl who told me this was someone I had a lot of classes with and we knew one another fairly well. I was being a nice guy, in the sense of trying to be manipulative by trying to get sympathy from him. I thankfully saw how I was acting and did a complete 180 degrees once I realized it. It's been about 15 years and I'm in my 30s now and have been a lot happier and am happily married to a wonderful woman. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day you marvelous people.